Hi, we're back, and we have some great information to share with you today. We got some updates since we did our last update.
Yes, more updates.
Wow, things are just
Well, some
changing.
of the people that we had reached out to were so overwhelmed they got back to us after our last video. And this morning, Susan and I attended a Realtor Association and Building Association
panel discussion
and updated us on what's going on out there behind the scenes and who builds these houses.
Well,
like
yeah, we had people that were from every industry, every level of the home building and buying process.
Yes.
So we have some takeaways.
Yeah, this is what we gleaned.
Right. So the first panel that we had were people that were managing loans and insurance,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, so what was your takeaway from that?
Well, one, without them, you can't get a house unless you're paying cash.
Yeah,
And you're
that's
just
a
going to
good
be
point.
doomed. Different. They talked about the different changes, and my one big takeaway is start early. So oftentimes new home builders will have their preferred lenders, but there's no reason that you have to decide on a home before you talk to some of those. So you can talk to them ahead of time, and also explore different mortgage options. That was something that I piqued my ears.
Well, and I hadn't thought about that because typically we are encouraging people to work with the lenders that the builders are associated with. So the lenders that work with the builders, and sometimes the builders have their own lending
and they
arm.
offer incentives towards closing if we use them.
Those incentives are changing.
Yeah.
We've gotten some emails lately, and that was going to be part of our update. But even so, today with what we learned today, the lending part of everything is just a little. We can look into it a little deeper than we have in the past, and try to encourage people to please get pre-approved before you even start looking. Because the builders are going to ask you to get pre-approved too. And
to understand different terms of loans. Like, not everybody is, not a 30-year fixed isn't for everybody, or you don't have to mortgage the whole thing. Like, people sometimes forget, I've got cash. Oh, you can do part cash, part mortgage.
Right.
You explore your options, and also as rates go up and things are more competitive all over, talk to more than one lender. We've got some great people we have relationships with that we like to recommend, but that doesn't mean that you don't want to talk to more than one and keep them sharp. So never hurts.
Most of our lender friends will say it's hard to beat the incentives that the builders are offering.
But that's different than terms. So they can still look at different terms.
This is true.
With the same lender.
This is true.
Yes.
Explain the 10-1.
The 10-1. So, and I am by no means a mortgage expert, but they were talking about a 10-1 or a 10-6 today, and my understanding is it's a fixed rate for 10 years, and then either on a yearly or semi-annual, a six-month basis, your rate would fluctuate as an adjustable rate.
Right.
They shared some statistics about how many people actually sell their home before, or change owners, or refinance. A lot of things happen before that 10-year mark.
Before 10 years.
So it might, for some people, be a good fit. For others, 30-year fixed is the way to go. So, look at other options. Some people just automatically assume, or sometimes even our lenders will say, oh, here's a pre-approval for 30 years fixed, and they don't even talk about terms. So ask those questions. We are not mortgage representatives. We are not the experts here, but we do know enough to ask a lot of questions.
And we do know that it's going to make your process a lot easier the more that you understand. So let's talk about rates. 3.25% to 6.25% in what period of time? In like 3 months?
Yes,
something like 3 months.
Yeah.
So it kind of it's knocked out about 1.7 billion buyers. Is that possible?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So this is expected.
Yes.
I mean, when rates go up, the competition for within the buyers, lessens some. And so the person that is well established and able to manage that rate is going to, get into a home faster.
Yeah. And although the rates are going up, they presented it more of a correction of what should be. Like, like the lowest rates we've had like a year ago were unrealistically low
And
for lenders.
they used a word, they were false. Or was that the word they used?
Something. Yeah.
It was a manufactured rate that was pushed down by the Fed and the changes and trying to control what was happening in the economy, and now they're trying to do it again by raising the rates. But
and certain generations are used to a higher. I mean, back in the 80s, something 13 to 17% was a thing, you know, and so
we're popping in this picture. I've got a picture of that sign.
Okay. Yeah.
That was shown today.
So, but yeah, so the biggest takeaway was be prepared, do your homework ahead of time, and it doesn't hurt to explore things and have a credit check. So moving on from mortgages.
Moving on.
Insurance.
Insurance. Big topic in Florida. You have no idea. For people that have older homes and people that are buying resale homes, it has presented a big problem, and we just don't know exactly how it's going to be solved. We've had some laws passed, but we're not going to see any benefit from those laws for a while. We as the consumer, the consumer. Yeah. And so one more reason
to buy new.
Yes.
Newer homes and new homes are much more likely to be easily insured. Is that a good way of putting it?
That's a good way of putting it. Easily insured and for a lower premium.
Yes.
And as far as the flood factor goes, because everybody knows about floods in Florida, I mean, we're not looking at new home communities that are built in flood zones. Builders would be insane to really build in a flood zone. So, again, another reason to buy new, other than the fact that you don't have maintenance for 10 years and you've got warranties on all your appliances and
your roof is new.
And that's
built
the
to
biggie.
New standards and codes. That's what affected the insurance.
Right.
Because the amount of straps and tie downs on the roofs and all that has changed the last few years.
Right.
And already the few storms we've had, we've sustained much less storm damage, so that's good.
Right. So let's move on. We heard from a couple of custom builders and two or three of the production builders. And without going into who they were, what I took away from the custom builders was, if you're thinking about buying, you probably have been thinking about it for a while, and it's time.
Yes.
It's time to lock in the rate like it is and to move forward, because this supply chain thing is smoothing out a little bit. They're still having some challenges.
Allocations.
But
of product.
It's getting easier.
Yes. Yeah.
So for the production builders, boy.
They're going to continue to do a lot more inventory homes and a lot less changes, even on the interior. And with them, they just said, they're ordering windows and they're ordering tiles.
Right.
They'll order a lot at once and know they have it before they commit it to that dwelling, which is nice.
And a lot of people would really prefer to choose their own finishes and to put in the changes that they'd like inside as far as structural things go. But they're building these home specs, the inventory, to be agreeable and to appeal to the consumer based on what the consumer has been buying in the past. So if you're, a little bit flexible, then a spec home might be just a thing for you, and you can get into them much quicker.
Yes.
So here again, there's a faster way to get into a home in Florida. Your rate will be lower because the rates are going to keep going up.
Yep. And they're buying
for a while.
They're buying in bulk, or they're buying large quantities of things, so they're keeping their costs down.
Right. So The other thing that we heard was that the price increases that we saw over the past 2 years are slowing down, if not disappearing.
Right. Well, yeah, values are increasing, but the high escalation of prices is limiting.
Right.
But they don't expect things to go backwards, and that came from the builders. Yeah, there's still demand. We're still very behind on what we call inventory, as far as builders weren't building enough homes to keep up with demand for several years, and the amount of people looking for homes, the amount of the population's growing, people in Florida are growing, and so the demand for these homes is still strong, and they're still more or less behind building, if you can believe that. If everywhere you look, it seems like they're building homes.
Yeah, we're behind, and 1,000 people a day are moving into Florida. That's just so hard to believe,
Yeah.
but Florida's a big state.
It's huge, yes, yes.
So it's not just our greater Sarasota area that is drawing people to Florida, but this is certainly one of the nicest places to come to in Florida. So we're looking at some price stabilizing.
Right, that's another way of putting it. Yeah.
And I'm already seeing, as I expected, increased incentives in the loan process. So getting a lot more of your closing costs covered. And if it happens to be a spec that hasn't gone to design yet, then they're offering incentives to go to design.
Yes.
Which is what they did in the olden days, right? So what they're calling there was a term that they used, freestyle selling, something like that. Yeah. But this bidding war,
yeah, we're seeing less lots for bidding. We're seeing less. Easy offer is one of the terms.
Right.
So we're seeing less of that. A lot of times if it's available. There are still a few communities that are in such great demand that the only option the builders have really is a lottery or a bid, but we're seeing much less of that.
Right.
And things are moving along quickly and more reasonably. They've set a price and the sales price is pretty close to that price.
Right.
That's nice.
Right. Okay, so just some general takeaways from that meeting that we went to this morning. We wanted to tell you, we just keep getting all of these emails from all of the builders to let us know that great news, we have things that we're going to sell today, and it's going to be done in September or the fall or the winter.
Yes.
And we're just like sitting there going, really? Well, that is good news.
Exciting to share.
Exciting to share. So Judy took some notes today from some of her emails, and so did I.
Yeah, so some of the things I would like to report is there's a community in Parrish called Summerwoods, and they are launching phase 3, and there are a few builders in there. Most recently I've been talking with my friends at Manatee, and they've got homes coming out of the ground. We sold one the other day, and their model's just a couple months from completion. So Summerwoods 3 is happening. That's off of Moccasin Wallow. Also in that same area, Webb Bayview is doing more direct selling and less bids, and things are moving along there. Crosswind Pointe, where we are, things are moving in all sections and doing really well. Willow Walk by Inland Homes. We did a video from there recently, and they've got a lot in process. Currently, they have a really cute little June, a 3-bedroom available, and they've got some 2-story models. Some families like to have that 2-story model. And again, with Inland, their 2-story homes are block on the bottom and block on the top, which is not super common. Another big change in North River Ranch, Park Square Homes is selling out what they have left. I think they've got about 6 homes for sale right now. And also they're selling their 2 models with a leaseback option. So you could buy it, probably move in about 6 months, and they would lease it back from you until they're done using it as a model home. So that's nice. A lot of people walk in and are like, why can't I just buy this? Well, now you can.
Well, now you can, since they only have 7 homes left.
Yeah,
it's not going to be long till they'll close out, and you can buy that model. Who else told us today that they had a model that would be a lease back? Oh, it was Stock
Development.
In Lake,
so beautiful.
In the Lake Club in Lakewood Ranch. If you're looking for a high-end builder, that's one of the
Phenomenal.
ones that I really like a lot.
Yes. And they have some to-be-builts where they're not permitting structural changes, but they are letting you do the whole inside. And they do have some inventory homes. So that is just, they built stunning homes.
I mean, we're talking about luxury homes.
Yes.
So if you're interested in the luxury market, that is opening up too.
Yes. Yep. Opening a little bit.
We've got a luxury home builder, Arthur Ruttenberg. They sent me an email the other day. Their model is going to be done by the end of the year in Star Farms. Now, Star Farms is an interesting community. There is primarily D.R. Horton. They've got 62 homes that they can
Luxury,
sell
yes.
today that are all going to be done sometime in the fall or winter. So they've got so many options for their homes that I'm not going to go into it now. You have to, look at the video that's coming up about Star Farms. But the interesting thing about Star Farms is what I think is going to happen with that real mix of luxury homes and then all of the different levels of the D.R. Horton.
Yeah.
That leads me to believe that is going to be a thriving, diverse community. So if you're, looking to be into Lakewood Ranch and you want to just get there, that's a great opportunity for entry into Lakewood Ranch because they've got all of their lines and some of them are below 500.
Right. One other thing that's kind of on the edge is that we've seen some of our Taylor Morrison communities lightening up and releasing more inventory. And the Heights in Esplanade has some villas available. They've been quite a wait list and hard to get.
Oh.
So they have a couple IBIS models for villas that are quick move-ins, which are great. So,
Okay. Del Webb Lakewood Ranch sent us an email. They're great news. They're selling. That's where I got that freestyle selling.
Freestyle. Okay, that's it.
We've got so many emails, but let's wrap this up, Judy. My most exciting one today was from Lakehouse Cove. Lakehouse Cove is a beautiful community done by Homes by Town that is part of the Waterside section of the Lakewood Ranch section that's in Sarasota County. So it's going to cost you $1 million just to walk into a single family home there for the most part.
Yes.
And especially if you want a water view. But they have released their casting series, which are single family homes. They're only 1,500 something square feet. And you would think that they were villas, but they're freestanding homes with 2-car garages, and they're below 500. They're spec homes. So if you have any ideas about getting into the Waterside area, this might be the ticket for you.
Homes by Town?
Homes by Town. Yeah.
That's
I know.
a good thing.
And then Sweetwater has villas all on water lots. There's like seven of them that they have put out. And those are in the 5s. So,
Excuse me.
I know, we're boring each other.
We've laughed so hard. Huh?
So go ahead, Judy, wrap it up.
I just think that things are ever changing down here. So if you're looking at an older video, call us and find out what's new or what's available. And things are changing daily. Stuff's becoming available much quicker than we expected. People that had wait lists over 1,000 people are not using wait lists anymore.
Nope.
And it's pretty exciting. And we have kept up with all these builders throughout all this craziness. So we have great relationships. So let us work on your behalf.
And that's the message that we got from the builders today. As a room full of realtors, they were telling us, stay in touch with your reps. And Judy and I are in touch. We are connected. So if you want to get connected, call Judy, call Susan, and give us a like on this video, subscribe,
Ask questions.
and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.